Hey guys, Woods Farm here, just back out working on the Kubelwagen. A little bit of a setback. I know in my previous videos I had talked about kind of a discrepancy on the framework on the rear driver's side, and I was brushed it off. At first I only thought maybe it would be about a quarter inch out, but luckily I've caught it now and not after I put on the body panels, but it looks like it's more like 3/8 of an inch, which doesn't sound a lot, but the problem is the slope, or it shouldn't be a slope, it should be perfectly level and horizontal, but that bar that goes across the back, I noticed when I cut the wooden panel for the back seat, that was the first time I could really notice it by eye, that it was not level and it was slanting down. So after taking some more measurements and also getting a larger level, it's pretty clear that the driver's side at the back end is about 3/8 of an inch lower, maybe half an inch, and that really makes a difference over the 56 inches from one side to the other. You can really notice it when you look at the vehicle front on. So at this point I'm going to have to go back and fix that. Okay, here's the part I'm talking about, this bar here. It's a little bit lower than the bar on the other side. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to cut it out, and I'm going to have to add a little bit to this to bring it up about half an inch, maybe 3/8, and start over again. It doesn't, 3/8 of an inch doesn't seem like a lot, but you know, it's kind of compounded because I think this ended up getting welded a little bit low on this side and it's kind of a little high on that side. But this back bar here is very noticeably not level. And now that translates back to this piece and the very back, but it's not as noticeable. So I thought I was going to have to redo both sides because it also, you know, going back and double checking everything, it's slanting back a little bit as well, so it should actually be a bit higher at the end. But that ended up being fairly even across from side to side. So essentially this side mirrors the passenger side. The only difference is it's 3/8 of an inch lower across the board. So I decided I'm going to leave the other side as it is, but I have to adjust this side and bring everything up to get this bar, get this level. So that's what I'm going to work on. Hopefully it won't take too long. It does kind of mess up some of the issues with the engine compartment and stuff, but I have a solution for that. I think that's going to work. So basically I need to cut this side piece out, trim it off. I need to remove this complete piece. I'm going to replace this completely, so I got to grind out some welds, remove it. This piece here is going to get cut but left, and I'm going to level that. I have an idea to how I'm going to level that by just adding another piece of angle. And this back piece, I'm not 100% how I'm going to deal with that, but it's going to get cut off here at the very least, and probably a new piece is going to get attached across the top to kind of level it. That's all going to get covered with body panels, so it'll be hidden, but it will look true in the end, and that's all that really matters at this point. Okay, here's the frame cut out, and I was originally just going to discard this, and I bought some 1-inch tubing to kind of replace it, start from scratch, but I'm going to try to mock it up with a couple of shims. Because we're only talking 3/8 of an inch, quarter of an inch here or there, I might actually be able to salvage this piece just by shimming, adding some material where it contacts the door pillar and the back framework. Okay, this is what I mean by shimming. And originally to raise this pillar up, that's how I was going to do it. I was just going to cut some material, 3/8, quarter inch plate, and weld it on the top, and that would give me the height. And wherever I cut it off, I probably lost a little material, so I'm thinking if I just take pieces of like 1-inch flat stock, I can shim it, and then it needs to raise up here, and then at the back it needs to be raised up just a bit, and I can probably accomplish that by the same idea, adding a shim in at the bottom. So of course I'm going to mock this up and test out the theory, but it would save me a lot of work, I think. Okay, so this piece of 1/4-inch plate represents approximately how far up this door pillar needs to be raised. It's 30 inches and 7/8 on the other side, and with this 1/4-inch, it's pretty much identical to that on this side. If I put a bar from there across to here, place a level on it, it shows level, and that was the issue. I was out here the other night with my wife, and she suggested crossing bars across the door pillars to kind of see which pillar was out. And we did that and confirmed with measurements and with leveling that this pillar is too low. And that's really where I started to go wrong. So what I talked about previous is just shimming this piece here. So you can see where I cut out here, particularly I lost quite a bit of material, but that's only about 1/4 of an inch. So by raising that up level, you get right here at the back seat, and that's where you noticed it the most. Again, when I put a bar across here, I'm getting level, which is what we need. So all I really need to do is come down here and add about 1/4 inch or 3/8. I think that's 2 pieces of 1/8 plate just sitting in there. So you know, 1/4 inch up. It kind of changes maybe the geometry of how this piece comes down a little bit, but I don't think you're going to see that and notice that to the same degree, because there's no frame of reference if the angle isn't exactly matching the other side. So I'm not too worried about that, but this is the issue that I got to deal with now, is that this rear cross piece is too low, this cross piece is too low, and the seat back is too low. So the seat back I'm just going to completely replace. It'll be welded level from each side to side, no problems. The middle piece, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to add another piece of angle and weld it, tack it to this piece and have it welded flush. And that's actually better, because I was thinking about the piano hinge that needs to go across here for the door. I didn't have a lot of real solid material to attach that to, so adding another piece of angle, a thicker piece of angle here, is going to actually be good for that. And once you put all the body panels on it, you're not going to notice that there's 2 kind of pieces of angle running across here, one of them being not perpendicular or horizontal, I guess, across, right? You're not going to notice that with the body panels. The back here, a little more tricky to deal with. Gonna have to think about that, but I think for now I'm gonna get this tacked in place. I'm gonna weld in the spacers, and then I'll add this piece and tack it in place. I just need to make sure that it's, you know, 56 or whatever the measurement is across evenly. It might need to come in a little bit or out. I suspect it probably needs to come out just a tad, so we'll deal with that. Okay, so it turns out I should have listened to my wife. I sort of overreacted, went out and bought, you know, 3 sections of 1-inch tubing and some other materials, because I thought I was going to have to redo both sides. She convinced me last night that the slight slope to the back is not a big deal. I have a cardboard mock-up, and it's so insignificant, not worth really addressing. But the side to side was an issue, because if you're looking at the car from the front and you compare it to, you know, what the straight lines, the, you know, the lower part of the windowsill there, or even the back, they're not going to line up. It jumps right out at you. That's why I had to go back and fix it. But all it took was just raising this door pillar up to the proper height, shimming it here, and then another shim at the back, brought this whole edge up, and now that line from that side to that side, when you put a level on it, it's level. When you look at it from the front of the vehicle, everything seems parallel and matches up, so that's the good thing. Okay, I'm just going to wrap this video up here. Put a lot of effort into the back end trying to get it to look a little more squared, a little more level, where I'd made a mistake and it was kind of too low on the other side. So I put some time into that. It looks a lot better now. If you look at it from the front, you can't really tell by eye. Problem is, it's still a little bit off, but what ended up happening is as I started trying to adjust the other side, other things start going out of alignment in other places, right? So, you know, short of going back and starting from scratch, which isn't going to happen, you know, you just got to live with some of these little inconsistencies. I did have a chance to address this back end. This bar here, it needed to come up a little bit. I think that's going to be an improvement as well. And I also got this job done. The rail here, seat rail and door pillar, it needed to drop down an inch. It actually is below the height of the door, so I had to cut it. I cut it at the bottom, cut out about 7/8 of an inch, dropped it down. Tried to use a level to level it a bit, monkeyed around with it. It's back together, so that's an improvement. So I did get some stuff done this weekend, but all in all, a little bit of a setback. I was hoping to be, you know, rolling beads on body panels and getting that kind of stuff done by now. But it is what it is. I'll be back on track. Going to start doing some patterning and working on the body panels next. Anyways, thanks for watching. Appreciate all the support from everyone. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Thanks.